how do you become a professional athlete, an elite athlete that can compete at the top level in the world? You need to have...
Hello and welcome to the NoShortcuts Podcast. Today we have Parashuram Chenji from Hyderabad join us in the conversation. He is a two-time national road cycling medalist, and today he is a certified football coach and a personal trainer.
Strength, speed, stamina, skill and sense. These are the 5 S's that I believe in. If you have a good base of this, then to become an elite athlete, there has to be some X factor on top of this as well.
Today we explore his journey, his cycling experience, the injury setbacks and how he has dealt with them, and also the kind of work he is doing in youth sports development.
I strongly believe that India is a country filled with sporting potential, a lot of talent, but not enough guidance, not enough infrastructure, and not enough sort of drive, not enough competition, I would say. The best athletes in the world get till there because they put in that hard work day in, day out.
Feel the beat, we are rising high. Legends don't stop till they reach the sky.
No shortcuts.
It's about the work, no easy wins, just a focused mind.
No shortcuts.
The journey runs deep,
No shortcuts.
now hear them rise.
Hi Parashuram, welcome to the NoShortcuts Podcast.
Hi Pat, thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you so much for making the trip all the way from Hyderabad. It's great to have you at Scott Sports India office here in Mumbai.
It's my pleasure. Honestly, these kind of opportunities are what drive me. They excite me. So I'm very, very happy to be here.
You know, in sport, there are so many untold stories. And this podcast is our attempt to bring out those stories that are unheard of, be it of athletes, cyclists, or individuals. Because there's so much to learn from each other. You know, and via this podcast, we want to bring out their stories and share it with a larger audience and celebrate the transformative power that sport has.
Absolutely.
And today we're very excited to unravel your journey because you've been through so much. You've been, we've been places, you've been into the cycling field. And I thought we could use today to not only dive into your cycling journey, but also talk about something that all athletes face, that is injury setbacks. How to deal with them, how to bounce back and again rise to the podium.
That's a very, very good topic. I feel that injuries are something that not just athletes, definitely athletes face during their career, and it can be really tough for them to get back from. But injuries are setbacks that every single individual might have had up till now or might have in the future going forward. And knowing how to deal with injuries is key to living a happy, healthy, fulfilling life. So that's a good topic. I would love to talk about that.
That's great. And I think there's not much information out there on how to navigate a journey and how to deal with it.
I don't know. I feel like the opposite. There is too much information out there. So you're overloaded with so much information that you don't know which line to choose. If you're feeling pain in, let's say, in your chest, you might self-diagnose it as a heart attack when it could be something completely different. So I feel like there's too much information out there, and understanding what exactly your problem is definitely is the first step towards recovering from it. Getting help from an expert should be key, but finding the right person is so much more important, because finding the wrong person can lead you down a downward slope from there.
Right. So we'll get into that in more detail. Before that, the very first thing we like to do is to get to know you a little bit more, how you came to be who you are today. So why don't you take us to the very beginning, your early days, your childhood, leading up to today?
Definitely, happy to. I am lucky to have grown up in the family that I've grown up in. My dad is a photographer who's been a sports person back in the day. He's played a lot of judo. My mom is a yoga therapist and a baker. She does healthy baking. So between the two of them, with their parenting, I think they've instilled a lot of really, really good values in all 4 of us. We have 4 brothers. I have 1 elder brother, 2 younger brothers. And just the fact that there are 4 of us led to us all becoming very sporty, very competitive, very fit. Because when you grow up with brothers, you have to fight for everything, you know. You have to fight for your food, you have to fight for clothes, you have to fight for, I don't know, time on the Game Boy playing Pokemon, for example. So I think all of that has really helped, especially because with me and my elder brother, we grew up playing a lot of cricket and among other sports. And initially, as an elder brother, he was taller, stronger, faster, and he would beat me at every single game that we played. So I had to level up in order to compete with him. And I really strongly believe that growing up with an elder brother who I played with regularly has really helped me to become a better sports person, because you need some form of skill, strength, or you need some X factor actually to do well at sport, you know.
Yeah.
While you have the basics in place, which the basics would be strength, speed, stamina, skill, and sense. These are the 5 S's that I believe in. For football, yes, but for most other sports as well. So strength, speed, stamina, skill, and sense, game sense.
Right.
So yeah, if you have a good base of this, then to become an elite athlete, there has to be some X factor on top of this as well. And as a younger kid, and I was always kind of scrawny, not very strong. So for me, that X factor, I believe it really came from the mind, you know, just playing mind games, fooling your opponent in some little way to win a point here and there. So that kind of stuff really developed. And as I grew and got more and more into competitive sport, I realized that it plays a huge difference. So when I got into football, I played cricket till I was in class 7. And then we moved to a different house in a very beautiful colony which had a small ground where a lot of kids used to play football. And I instantly fell in love with the sport. So in football, as a striker, I played from class 7 to class 12. As a striker, that X factor was super important, because you need to find small spaces in which you pull away from the defenders to receive the ball and then try and score goals.
Right.
So yeah, that X factor really played a big role in my development as a footballer. And then post class 12, I went to Delhi to complete my graduation. I did a BCom honors from Delhi University. Those were my non-sporty years, away from family, a lot of freedom. I had an injury that kept me away from sport during that time. So they were my non-sporty years, but what kept me happy, fit, and sane was my bicycle. I had a cycle that I used to commute on in Delhi. And used to go to college, used to go to tuition, used to go to friends' houses, anywhere I needed to travel, I would always take my cycle. So that's what kept me sane during my college years. Then I came back to Hyderabad. I started working, and very quickly into my first corporate role, I realized that there is no more time in the day. You wake up early, get ready, catch the corporate bus, go all the way to your office, finish your work, catch a bus, come back home. By the time you reach home, it's already about 7.
Yeah.
Which in India, your play slot is either early morning or between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. That's when the weather is good to be playing outdoors. So both slots end up missed. So I wasn't getting any sports in my life as soon as I joined a work culture. And that's when I realized that commute has to become my form of energy release. So I ditched within 1 week of going to work in the office cab. I ditched it, started taking my cycle. On day 1, it was painful because there's a Banjara Hills incline in Hyderabad, which road number 2, which I wasn't expecting it to be such a long incline. So it was painful, yes. But once I got past that, it was pleasurable again. And then, yeah. Day 1
commuting to work.
Yes, I started commuting to work. It was about 23 kilometers one way.
That's quite long. I mean,
It
for
is.
a commute.
It is, in a way, yes, but if you speak to certain people who have been cycling for a while, you'll realize it's not that long. You know, it's an hour tops.
Right.
Which is a good warm up warm-up commute.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, first week into my job, I stopped using company transport, got onto my cycle. And within 6 months, what really helped me during my cycling to work was Strava, actually.
Was that the first time you discovered the app?
Yes.
Okay.
I was introduced to the app and I began logging my commutes over there, and suddenly I saw there's this thing called KOMs, which you can test your timing on any given segment from point A to point B, and you can see what timings all other cyclists who logged their rides have gotten. So that was superb motivation for me to start riding fast. So yeah, that's what brought me into the sport of road cycling. So just commuting to work every day, trying to go fast on certain segments, worked out to be interval training for me. And when I did my first race, I got a few eyeballs. There were two national level riders, Jetharam and Ramswarup. Both of them were impressed with the way I rode, and they asked me if I would like to start training with them. And for a guy like me, there's no looking back from there, you know. Two national level athletes have asked me if I want to train with them. Yeah, I quit my job very soon after that to pursue cycle racing. Did cycle racing for more than 5 years. And then I got into football coaching. That's when I fell back in love with my old sport, football. Been coaching for more than 4 years now, and I've also gotten a personal trainer certification. So it's been about I think it's 7 or 8 months now since I got certified as a personal trainer, and I've been working in this field ever since.
You also mentioned that you had an injury in your 12th standard, because of which you switched from playing football to cycling.
Yes.
What are the injuries, setbacks that you had, throughout your career, be it football or cycling? Can you walk us through that?
Good question. I have not had injury setbacks. Actually, I've had two. Yeah, so yeah, you can put the S over there. The one major injury was after my class 12. So leading up to class 12, I had seen a few of my friends getting injuries here and there. And in my head, I felt invincible because I had never gotten injured till date. And I was enjoying sport every single day, morning and evening. So I was playing football twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening, and having a ball. It's a good life for a kid who loves the sport. Right. But yeah, then I finished my 12th board exams, and the plan was to go to Delhi University and apply for a few colleges through sports quota. Every summer, I used to go to Gymkhana grounds in Hyderabad, where they would have a summer camp for football. So since class 7, I had been going there regularly, and obviously after my class 12 again, I had signed up and I was going for coaching over there. That's where there was an injury. So basically I was trying to shoot at goal. I was shooting from a long distance outside the D. So I had, I was putting in all my power into the shot when somebody put his leg in between, and there was a clash of legs, which led to a small injury, and I could feel it. I was not very comfortable for the rest of there was only about 5-10 minutes of the game left to play. I wasn't very comfortable. I limped around and then went back home and cycled back home, went back, ate something, fell asleep and woke up with my knee completely swollen. Swollen, and I was unable to even bend it. So yeah, that's when I should have realized that it's a serious injury. But as a young kid who's never been injured before, I did not really understand the level of seriousness of this injury. So my aim was to start walking again, then slowly start jogging again. And in my head, if I'm able to jog, that probably means that I'm able to play football. So by day 4, the swelling had subsided and I was able to walk, and I tried jogging and I jogged. And day 7 post injury we had already registered for a football tournament, me and my team. And day 7 since this injury was that football tournament. With no better guidance, against whatever good judgment anybody should have had, I decided to go and play because I'd already paid 500 rupees to register for that tournament. So yeah, I went and played, and first minute itself, I realized that I'm not fully fit. And then for the first 5 minutes, I had to swing and try to shoot, which I heard 3 loud cracks, which were pop, 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 ACL, meniscus, torn. Couldn't walk, couldn't get up. Yeah, it was bad. It was very, very painful. The next 3 months were hell. The next 1 month, I could not walk at all. And this is during the time when I had to go to college to send in applications. So yeah, I was limping all over the place. Delhi, I'd come to Mumbai also to apply to Narsi Monji, and I was just limping all over the place. It took 3 months before I could walk properly again. So yeah, and it's an ACL tear. An ACL tear is an injury which doesn't heal by itself,
right?
Especially when it's a major tear. So you need operation, you need a surgery to heal it. Right. So that was the biggest injury setback that stopped me from playing football. So from class 12 onwards, I had to give up football because moving in one straight line is still okay, but any form of lateral movement,
correct,
it does not support anymore post injury. So I had to give up football.
That might have been a big blow to you, right? For a 17-year-old, football is your whole heart and soul. And you're the captain, you're the striker, you're gunning for your team depends on you. And then injuries don't, they don't send you an invitation, it just happens, And when it strikes, you feel like a loss of identity as well. Like, what's going to happen now? The best part of my day, my football, is snatched away from me because of an injury.
Yeah.
Was that a turning point for you? How did you deal with it?
I love how you've got onto this, and I love how you said loss of identity, because that was so real. In school, during our farewell party, I was Mr. Popular. I had a red sash that they put on me which said Mr. Popular. And everybody in school knew me, liked my company.
Exactly.
I would hang out with literally anyone from the headmistress to the PT sir to all the students from every class to the watchman. Everybody knew me. But then I went to Delhi for college and I had no sport. We had a nice big football ground in our college, but I could never play. It was a complete loss of identity. I remember one of my first very awkward experiences was new class. It's a big class, 60 kids per section, and there was no teachers, so everybody's just doing whatever, talking to somebody, and I didn't have any friends. I had come from Hyderabad to Delhi, so I was looking around for friends to make. Exactly. And I saw these two girls sitting and talking amongst themselves. I went and spoke to them and got such a cold shoulder. It was so awkward and so embarrassing that I decided not to try anymore. So yeah, loss of identity definitely did happen, because I was who I was because I was so good at sport. Correct. And I was enjoying myself and made so many of my friends through sport.
Exactly.
Yeah. Even today I have a tattoo for Spartan helmet, which is my childhood football team's logo.
Okay.
So the friendships that I made back then are still so strong till today, and we still play football together. So yeah, once I lost the ability to play my sport, then I definitely lost. Yeah. What did you call it? Loss of identity. So yeah, not just that, mentally also it did play a lot on my head. College was tough. My first year in college was super tough because no friends, no sport. It was tough to make friends. I don't know if you've been to Delhi. You know what the locals can be quite intimidating and not very friendly at times, to a point where in my 3 years in Delhi, I noticed that I had become quite aggressive as a person as well. Right. So yeah, loss of the injury which stopped me from playing the sport that I love really did have a big impact.
Right. Since then, you came back to Hyderabad, you picked up cycling, and then you've, won 2 national medals. Did that injury affect your performance also in cycling? Because it is a no-contact sport, right? How did that injury affect you? Because what I understand is there was not much guidance in that time as to how to recover from the injury, what are the right steps to follow after an ACL tear, right? Can you tell us, did that injury affect your cycling training, performance and results? And how did you deal with it?
So during my cycling career, I never realized, although the signs were there, once I started training with a power meter, with power pedals. So they give you individual power output.
Yeah, left, right.
Left, right, yeah. So the signs were clearly there. My right, it was showing me that my left foot is giving for 58% of the power and my right is only giving 42%.
Oh, that's a huge imbalance.
It's a huge imbalance, yeah. But I never believed it, and I had this strong inclination that, hey, all these power meters are not good enough. They're giving me wrong values. Because I felt okay, But then, I met a physiotherapist who became a good friend, and she did an assessment in which we tested out my left leg versus my right leg, which is such a simple thing to do, for somebody like me who's never fully recovered from an ACL tear. Right now, to me, it seems so simple that, okay, the first thing we need to do is we need to check out how strong your left leg is, how strong your right leg is, and is there any imbalance of strength. But it took more than 4 years through my cycling career before I realized that this strength imbalance is actually harming my
it took
performance.
you 4 years to understand that. And in the mind, did you know that, okay, my injury is now healed? Were you in that perception?
In my mind, yes. I would say 99% because I had stopped trying to play football. I had stopped trying to play any other sports. And everything that I did was cycling or, strength work in the gym to get better at cycling. So everything was pretty unidirectional. There were no lateral movements as such.
Correct.
I never realized. Oh, and one more very big point is that I never did single leg training. So
like
we
the
did
pistol
squats, we did deadlifts, we did whatnot.
Correct.
But I never really did single leg training. And I never realized that, my right leg is weaker than my left. Okay. So what happened actually is that post injury, you tend to put less weight on the injured leg and more on the good leg.
Naturally, by the conscience of it, that something has happened here.
Exactly. So what had ended up happening is that every activity, even if it's just walking, if there's a puddle of water in front of me, I would jump by taking off of my left leg and also land on my left leg over there. So I would be protecting my right leg very subconsciously. I didn't even realize all of this is happening until I thought about it and put my mind into what's happening. My left got much stronger. My right kept getting a little weaker, I would say. So that played its role in my sport, in cycling. When I was competing, my silver medal in the nationals under 23. The reason why it's a silver and it's not a gold is because I had a bad cramp in my left leg. It was my thigh, it was my quad. Literally like 500 meters before the finish line, and it was a 2% sprint. We were in a breakaway, and I know I could have gotten him, but such a bad cramp. And that cramp had come because of 120 kilometers of racing in which my left is putting more energy. My left, every attack that's going, if I'm catching, and I caught every single attack in that race, if I'm catching it subconsciously without my knowledge, I was putting, you need a jerk of power. In India, a lot of cyclists, we call it jarak. So you need that instant power to close the gap quickly. And that always began with my left leg. So if I tried to do it with my right as well, it did not feel the same. So every single burst of energy was coming from my left leg. And the body will give up when it needs to give up. So at 119.5 kilometers, I got my cramp, and what could have been a gold was silver. So I blamed it on hydration as well back post that race, because I really didn't know that there was a strength imbalance back then as well. So I had only 600 ml into two bottles of water for the entire race. I could not find the Telangana team to sort of help me out with another bottle. So I blamed it on hydration, and definitely that also has some blame to take. But you could see that the strength imbalance did play a role in my cycling career. Another area of the sport which it prevented me from being good at was time trialing. So time trialing is all about maintaining a high intensity effort as smoothly as you can.
Gunning it,
Yeah. So when your left leg is giving, let's say for example, now I'm assuming that my left would have been giving me 250 watts, but my right would have been giving me only about 210 watts, maybe. Again, mental maths is a little off right now, but we can do that calculation, 58% versus 42%.
Right.
So there's no steady output of power.
There's an imbalance.
Yeah, so there's an imbalance. So which is why I was always more of a punchy rider. I loved to attack, let's say on a short hill, or I have good cornering skills. So take a corner faster than the others and sprint out of it. That kind of stuff I was good at. And yeah, there was some stuff that I was not good at. Maybe because of this, maybe because of many other reasons as well.
In hindsight, is it safe to say that had the injury been dealt with in a better manner, and had there been more awareness on how to deal with injuries, you would have had the gold medal instead of the silver?
I would have had many more gold medals. Yeah, when you look at things in hindsight, then there's obviously many things that you could have changed about your whole training, your lifestyle, your rehab plan, all of that. So yes, in hindsight, there could have been better medals, but you've got to accept your cards. And honestly, I'm very, very happy with the trajectory that my life took, and the results that I've achieved till date. So I'm not going to go back into that hindsight.
If you've heard this far, I'm sure you're enjoying the show. Don't forget to subscribe our channel, follow us on Instagram at Scott Sports India, or hit us on the Epilogue Media app. Now let's get back to the show. Today, you've transitioned from being a pro cyclist to a personal trainer, a football coach. You're certified, and you're also helping para-athletes. You've been through injuries, and you have first-hand experience. You've been a patient to injuries. Sorry, that's a harsh word.
Oh no, not at all.
Today, I would like to know, what are the key strategies you recommend for athletes to stay motivated and laser focused during the often grueling recovery process? Because it's a waiting game. Your knee is busted. You need to give it time. You need to slow down, lower down the gears. And really, it's a mind game. You have to let go that, okay, I can't compete. I have to wait until my knee recovers. How important is movement therapy and rehabilitation? And what is your advice on the injury, recovery and healing process?
Okay, this is applicable not just to athletes, but to anybody who's suffering from any form of injuries. Don't make the same mistake that I made. Like if I'm able to walk, if I'm able to jog, that does not mean that I'm able to play sport. So first things first, you have to understand what exactly the injury is. Secondly, you have to make sure that the injury is healing or healed. So if it's a muscle issue, has the muscle healed? If it's a joint issue, has the joint healed? You need to understand, you need to make sure that the healing is happening. And thirdly, and this is the most important one, before getting back to sport, you have to do certain sport-specific training drills or routines which will provide the kind of stimulus that your body is going to face during sport in a safer manner. For example, before getting back to playing football, if I'm able to do single leg hops on both legs, if I'm able to do lateral jumps, lateral shuffles, change of direction, accelerations, these kind of things, that probably means that my body is either ready to play or almost ready to play sport again. So yeah, I think that's a very, very important key point, because most people get back to sport quicker than they should because there's no right guidance, there's nobody to test. And then that just leads to injuries, so making a situation worse. So coming back to the question, how do you keep yourself motivated? Well, first things first, you need to see the larger picture. You need to see the longer picture. You need to see that however old you are, you have so much life in front of you to enjoy if you do the things right today, so that your body is in good shape tomorrow. So you need to understand how long it's going to take for you to recover from an injury. You don't need the exact day, but you need a ballpark figure. You need to understand how you have to be feeling in your body before you are ready to play sport again, which is pretty similar to what I just explained. Your body needs to be ready to make lateral movements, accelerations, decelerations if you want to play an explosive sport. And you need to have discipline with your lifestyle. So it's not just about doing rehab until you get better. It's also about, are you getting enough sleep at night? Are you eating the right foods? Are you eating the right foods at the right times? Because there's no point in drinking a protein shake at 1 a.m. Because it might not just adjust. You have to have a good routine which your body also understands and answers to. So
there are a lot of factors that come around that.
Exactly. It's not just about your training. It's about your entire lifestyle, what you've been doing for the whole day, for the whole week, how you treat your body. All of that will play a big role in how quickly you recover and whether or not you recover. Because if you live a bad lifestyle, you might not fully recover from an injury as well, which is the case with so many people, that they just go on with life adjusting to the small aches and pains and limitations that their injuries might be causing them.
Yeah, no, that's a great summary as to how to deal with it. What I remember is, my PE teacher saying me that, just do the warm up and cool down after the session so that, there are no injuries. That's all, a common guy would know how to avoid injuries. But I think this is a very holistic and all-rounded approach, keeping all these points in mind.
I like to, I hope it is. I wish if it was a longer form answer, I could have delved more deeper into this. But I think, from a broad perspective, I think these are a few things that you need to be on top of before you try playing sport again.
Correct. I don't know if you remember, but in 2019, I had reached out to you. I had read a couple of your blogs and I had messaged you, hey Parashuram, I'm Parth from Mumbai and, I want to understand a little more about the cycling scene. I was very new into this field, right? And how to join the local community, how to ride, what to buy, what not to buy. And you were very kind to a new me and you guided me very nicely. Roll back 6 years, I can't believe that, we're sitting and talking cycling over a podcast. So it's very special to me. And today there are a lot of people just like me, who want to pick up cycling, especially road cycling. Now you've been there, done that. What, according to you, is like a guide? How would you guide them into buying a cycle for them? More particular, a road bicycle.
First and foremost, I would say that if you are a person who has been considering buying a road bike, then good job, because you're on the right track in life. Because road bikes offer many advantages, especially for within a city or wherever the roads are good. I think a road bike is a good purchase for anybody who's in the cycling field to make. With regards to what road bike you should be buying, I would say there are many factors that you need to take into consideration. First and foremost, I honestly think first and foremost is budget. You need to understand how much money you have and how much of it you want to spend on a cycle. Right. So keep a budget in mind, and once you have a budget, then there are options for all levels of cyclists. There are so if you're an entry-level cyclist, then you might want to go in for an alloy frame endurance bike, right. Something like the Squad Speedster.
Correct.
If you have more experience, if you've already been cycling, and if you want to improve, if you want to cycle longer distances, maybe do a few brevets and stuff like that, then you'd want a better endurance frame. Again, the Squad Speedster has an endurance frame as well.
Yes, in the alloy. Correct.
In the alloy category.
Yeah.
So, depending on your requirement, you've got to pick the cycle. So now, If your requirement is brevet and long distance riding, then you would want to pick an endurance frame. If your requirement is racing, then you would want to pick a race frame. Even in racing, there are multiple kinds of race frames, as you know.
Right.
So now, for example, if you are a big, strong guy with a lot of power, that probably means that you're better on flatter surfaces and sprint finishes, that kind of stuff. So you would want to go for an aero bike, which is better for sprints. So, Scott Foyle is an aero bike.
Right.
And if you're a lightweight guy who has a lot of stamina, then you're probably better for hill finishes or hill climbs, for which you would want a lighter bike with a different race geometry.
We have the Addict.
Addict.
Right.
That's the Addict, right?
That's the Addict.
Such a good looking bike.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, depending on your requirement,
Yeah.
you have to see what kind of a bike would suit that requirement.
Correct.
If you're into time trials or if you're into triathlon, you might want a TT bike. So let's say if you already have a road bike at home, then there's no need to upgrade your road bike. So you might as well, if you're investing again, you might as well invest in a TT bike if you do triathlon or time trials or something like that.
Correct.
So yeah, figure out your budget, figure out your requirement. I would say figure out your requirement first, then you figure out your budget. And then look at the options in the market and see what suits.
Correct. Right. There's so many jargons out there and there's so many models. It gets very confusing for someone who wants to pick the right road bike. There's some people who like an upright riding posture, for which we also have flat bar road bikes, the Scott metrics. So I think there is something for everybody, for every type of person. So that's how road bikes are played out in Scott. We have the complete range.
Yes.
So that's cool.
And if if you already own a road bike and you're feeling too many bumps on the road, which is maybe leading to back pain or something like that, then you might want to switch to an MTB, which has solid shock absorption systems, which you can take off-roading. You can take on many Indian roads, which seem like off-roading as well. And if an MTB is too much of a switch, then you could look at a gravel bike, which is more like a road bike with thicker tires and better shock absorption. So yeah, options are plenty in the market. If you understand your requirement, then I think it sort of narrows down your options to the bikes that would suit you.
Now let's talk a little bit of Hyderabad. You've got the Hyderabad energy today here in Mumbai.
How?
Let's talk about the cycling culture in Hyderabad. How is it growing? How was it 10 years back? How is it today? You've ridden in so many cities across India. What is your take on an ideal cycling city, and how is Hyderabad flourishing in the cycling scene?
Flourishing is a good word. I would say that Hyderabad is flourishing in one aspect, which is we've got like a commercial side of town, high-tech city and the IT hub basically. And I've noticed that a lot of people who live in that side have ended up taking up to cycling as a means of commute, not really too many racers per se. But yeah, the number of cyclists has grown, for which I'm very happy. The number of cycle racers, I would say, has kind of gone down. The people, there are not enough groups that do racing as such. But that being said, we have two really unique academies. One is the Aditya Mehta Foundation. That's where I'm working as well now. It's an NGO that supports para athletes, and we've got a paracycling team also, which in fact, as we speak right now, are winning medals at the Asian Paracycling Championships, which is being held in Thailand right now. I know for a fact that they've already won 4 medals, and I think that there might be another medal or 2 also coming in. I'm not really sure. But so we've got pretty much one of the best academies for para sports, that is the Aditya Mehta Foundation. So if there's anybody with some form of physical disability or mental disability who wants to take up sports, then should definitely look that up. Based out of Hyderabad, we've got a really good training setup. And yeah, we work with more than 45 para athletes as of now. So I would say that is one of Hyderabad's highlights in terms of sporting infrastructure, at least to me.
Correct.
In terms of cycling specifically, we've got Dr. Maxwell Trevor. I don't know if you've definitely heard of him. 10-time national champion back in his day. Solid rider. You can see his calf muscles still today, in fact. So he has gotten into coaching and he runs his own cycling academy where he works primarily with really, really young athletes. So he understands that if you want to build world champions, you need to start young. So he's got kids who are under 8, under 10, under 12, under 14, all age groups. Trains them at the Osmania University Velodrome.
I see.
And one of the things that you strongly need in order to develop as a cycle racer is regular racing. So he provides that for them. He brings so many kids together that they get to compete among themselves, and when you compete among yourselves, you're going to become the best versions of yourself. So
correct.
I really think that there's a lot of growth, a lot of positivity that is going to come into Hyderabad cycle racing culture from Dr. Maxwell Trevor's Cycling Academy. So yeah, regarding the sport aspect of it, I would say Hyderabad is doing these two things correctly, along with Hyderabad Racing Circuit, which is they do about 6 races in a year. Used to be very competitive back when I was also racing. We had quite a lot of other racers also coming in, but I feel like the numbers have dwindled. People who are taking up racing as seriously as we don't really have as many competitive racers coming out of Hyderabad right now.
Right. I think that is very inclusive that, we have such institutes who are, providing training for para athletes and what Maxwell Trevor is doing. So I think these are very inclusive and this is going to grow the sport. And what I've, seen from social media is that Hyderabad has a good road infrastructure and there are a lot of hobby riders who are taking up cycling for fitness. Because there are some small pockets in and around Hyderabad wherein, it's good to ride outdoors. And I'm sure to cater to such cyclists, we need, a strong bike shop setup as well.
Hyderabad does have a few good bike shop setups. My personal favorite is Peddler's Point, which is now Scott Technology Center, in fact. But yeah, when I got into racing, they had sponsored us. Yeah, Neeraj from Peddler's Point Scott Technology Center had sponsored us with so much equipment. Helped us to train. Did so much for us.
Correct.
With no profit for them. It was purely out of the goodness of their heart that they did that. So, and I think they continue to hold a big share of the market in Hyderabad right now as well. Along with, like I said, the IT hub has a lot of options, bike shops and whatnot. My side of city, Secunderabad, has fewer options. But yeah, we've got more than what we need in order to keep the cycling culture thriving.
I've also heard that Hyderabad has a velodrome, right? And a velodrome is a very safe space for young children to ride. There are no vehicles. It's a safe space. Like a 100-meter sprint, you have a dedicated track. For cyclists, it is a velodrome.
I mean, yeah, I back when I was training, I used the velodrome a lot, especially for days in which I was doing interval training, because you don't find empty stretches of road that suit the purpose of your training routine for the day. Otherwise, used it a lot for interval training, but as safe as it is, it can also be a little dangerous. I've seen a few crashes, few broken bones as well. So cycling is a sport in which you can never really be 100% safe. It's a sport in which I would say that crashes are going to be a part of it. Hopefully broken bones are not, because actually one of the things that is very important is that you know how to fall. As a cyclist, so most people who actually break bones when they fall it happens because you fall down in a way in which you have. So most cyclists, when you're falling, let's say you're holding your handlebar and you're falling this side, you end up falling on your hand like this. So the impact either goes to one of your bones over here, or it carries all the way to your collarbone. So if you fall like this, the most common injury is a collarbone fracture, which for me, very luckily, during my years training for football, I vividly remember this. One of our coaches used to get us to do front rolls and back rolls. Why? Because you're going to fall when you play football. If you fall down and slide, you're going to scrape off a lot of skin. Right. But if you fall down and roll, you can get up immediately and get back to the sport with no scrapes, no bruises, no injuries, nothing. So he taught us how to roll front, back, side, whatever, in order to get up from a fall, which has saved me in one of my cycle crashes as well.
Oh, wow. That's a big save.
It was a huge save.
The tattoo that you just flashed shows that how football is so close to you, And I think that much of what we do today is linked to our childhood. Somehow it comes out into adulting, and when you are in your 20s. You have transitioned from a pro cyclist to being a football coach and a personal trainer. You've done your certifications, and from the past 3 to 4 years, you're a full-time coach. What drives you to work in youth sports development? And what do you see as the absolute essentials for a young kid who wants to get out of the block and start training to be on the podium in due course of time?
What drives me to work in youth sports development is honestly, from personal experience, I've been very fortunate to have some really good coaches in my life. But I've also been slightly unfortunate to not have them at the right times. So I strongly believe that India is a country filled with sporting potential, a lot of talent, but not enough guidance, not enough infrastructure, and not enough sort of drive, not enough competition, I would say. So most other sports, how do you become a professional athlete, an elite athlete that can compete at the top level in the world? You need to have discipline, dedication, lifestyle, and competition. Competition is so important. I have decided to work in the youth sports development field because I believe that a few of the mistakes that I made as an athlete, I can help kids not make those mistakes. And along with that, I did so many things really good as an athlete as well. My training, my nutrition, my sleep, how everything was planned and executed to the T for 5 years. I haven't missed a single workout when I was training as an athlete. And that's the extra little bit you need in order to be better than everybody else that you're competing against. So yeah, all of my experiences have brought me to this place, and also I'm happy around kids. I feel like they have such good energy.
You tell me.
And I tend to connect with them really well somehow. In my I've learned this throughout my football coaching, cycle coaching, whatever, wherever I connect with kids well, and I can bring out the best in them just purely by communicating and having conversations which get them to talk about what they want and what they want to do. I really love working in youth sports development, and it's been a very short while, about 4 years as a football coach and just less than a year as a personal trainer. But I definitely hope and pray that kids that I coach end up with such good lifestyles and knowledge about what it takes to get to where you want to go, that they succeed in life.
Right. Kids are like a small sapling, and the way you nurture it, you give water, give sunshine, give direction, they will turn out to be in that way. Because if they have a vector has magnitude and direction. The magnitude is the effort that the kid will put in, and direction is that you will give him. And that combination is deadly.
Yeah.
To have future athletes on the podiums, it is a combination of these two. It is the guru and the shishya combination that will come out and have more podiums for us. So Could you share a success story from your coaching journey that particularly stands out to you? Maybe a moment when you saw a young athlete overcome a challenge and achieve something which they never thought possible.
I have a good story, a fun, a nice story that sort of fits into this question. I haven't been coaching for the longest time, so yeah, it's just a little bit of experience, but which I haven't trained any kids to reach great heights yet. But I think one of the stories that I recall, which sort of fits into this, is as a football coach, I had gone with the team that I was coaching, Hotfoot. We had gone for a tournament. It was an under 13 team, and first half of the tournament. So this is a tournament. We had 3 coaches at Hotfoot, and the senior coach had taken them for this tournament. It was just one day that he could not go, so he asked me to step in. And first half of the match, my boys are down 3-0, and I know for a fact that these are talented kids. They know how to play football, they know how to score goals, but I could see what was going wrong. And then I took them in at halftime, and I asked them, I called them all together, made a huddle, and I asked them, do you think we've lost this match? There was no answer. One kid said, yes sir, and then when he said yes sir, the other kids came in and said, no, we haven't lost this match, it's only halftime. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for. We have not lost this match, it's only halftime. Yes, you're 3-0 down, but if they can score 3 goals in one half, then what 3? You can score 5 goals also in one half. So that was tweaking their mental game. So just bringing them back into a mental space in which they still know that they can win and they want to win. So that was part 1. And part 2 was trying to explain to them how they can win. So what I realized is that every time we were attacking, as soon as we took the ball into the opponent's half, we are looking only at the goal. And I told them that what you need is to be a little calm when you have the ball in that half. And if you're on the left side, instead of looking just at the goal, look towards your right, you will have your teammate free. If you're on the right, you look towards your left, you'll have a teammate free. Play the pass to them, they will score the goal. And we won 4-3. So that was, one really happy moment for me as a coach, where I saw that how much a coach can impact a game. Just a good memory.
It was very good to know, because there's so much, it's a two-way street. You do something, and when you get the results, you feel very rewarded.
Yes.
So which is nice.
And that the reward was more than just that victory. The reward was one of our star players of that match, who scored a hat-trick to help us win. His dad was so impressed that he hired me as a personal trainer for his son. So I got to work with him, I got to help him to level up, and he's doing really well now. He's playing with Srinidhi Academy, which is one of the best football teams based out of Hyderabad, and they're also doing really good work in football.
At Scott, we believe doing things the right way for the right reasons. We also feel that all achievements are hard-earned. There are no accidents. There are no shortcuts to success, What is the meaning of no shortcuts to you, Parashuram?
You won't believe me, but back when I was in school, one of the things that Dad told me, I don't even remember what context he said this in, but it would have been studies probably, because that was the only place where he had some complaints. But he told me that there are no shortcuts to success. And the first time I heard him say that, it struck. It's such an impactful statement. No shortcuts to success. So what is success? Whatever you want to achieve in life is probably success. There's no shortcut to reaching there. It takes X amount of work, dedication, time to get to whatever place you are labeling as a success. And you cannot cut corners to get till there. You have to put in the work. You have to be better than all the other people who want to be in that same place. So ever since my dad told me this when I was a kid, it's something that's always stuck on, this is why I love that it is the Scott mantra as well. But it's so true, man. the best athletes in the world get till there because they put in that hard work day in, day out. And hard work could mean something as simple as knowing when to recover also. It's not purely about effort, burnout.
Correct.
It's about being smart and mindful with the journey that you're taking. The best businessmen in the world are putting in their time and money and value day in and day out until they reach certain heights, and from there they keep scaling again. So whatever you want to achieve, there are no shortcuts to achieving that, at least legally. And you've got to give it the time, effort, dedication, discipline, lifestyle that it needs. Only then you're going to reach that place. So that's what it means to me. It's something that my dad told me when I was a kid, which is really stuck on ever since. And that's what has helped me to become a little bit of an athlete and a little bit of a coach as well.
No, your journey reflects a similar spirit of no shortcuts, and kudos to your dad. Any more fleeting comments, any message you'd like to put across to our audience watching right now? Something which is deeply close or personal to you, whatever you would like to talk on as a closing remark.
If the audience is some people in power somewhere who can determine the future course that our cities are taking, then one of the things is to improve the quality of life of every person living in a city. You need to stop cramming cities with more and more buildings, more and more traffic, more and more vehicles, motor vehicles. It's going downhill in every single city. I live in Hyderabad and I'm suffocating over there because of so much traffic and pollution and dust and whatnot. We need to sweep and mop our home every single day. That's a concept that is probably unheard of maybe in Europe or in the United States or any developed countries. Why do we have so much dust where we are living? We're inhaling that dust every single day. So we need to clean up our cities. We need to stop over construction. We need to stop building more and more stuff, bringing more and more people to the center of the city and increasing the traffic. That's something that really needs to stop in order for our cities to flourish. So if there's any person in power, I would like you all to consider taking people away from cities, build better facilities outside of cities somewhere, and spread the population out a bit. We'll have cleaner environment and happier people, and less people will want to move abroad. So that is point number one, closing remark. Point number two, closing remark is, I've heard a lot of people say that the traffic is too much, that's why I cannot commute. I cannot use my cycle as a means of commute. I'm not scared. I'm not confident to cycle on the roads. To that, I will say that you're not going to get confident in one day. It takes time, it takes effort. You need to develop a certain level of skill with your cycle. But if you don't try, you're never going to get till there. So one of my personal journeys is to help more and more people take up a cycle to commute to places, not just work, anywhere you want to go. Get on a cycle, you're reducing the traffic load, you're reducing the pollution, you're improving your health. There are 100 benefits that you know as well. So don't make excuses. Get on a bike. The first week, the first ride is going to be uncomfortable. The second ride will be a little less uncomfortable. But you will keep improving, you will keep getting better at it, and you will enjoy it. It is the most enjoyable form of transport. It's definitely more enjoyable than being in a car and yelling at people left, right and center. So get on your bicycle and start riding more often. It's better for you, it's better for the city.
There are two sports which are very close to you, cycling and football. If I put you in a position to choose one, which would you pick and why?
Tough question, tough choice. Both of them have a very, very different adrenaline rush. Football, childhood love, playing with your friends on the same pitch, scoring goals. You can score multiple goals in a game as opposed to a cycling race which you can win only once on a certain day. So definitely football has a little bit more of an edge in this question. But that being said, don't discount cycling, man. Cycling is it's not purely about just the love for cycling as a sport. It's more than just a sport. It's when I got injured and I could not play football, cycling was the best thing that I could do to strengthen my legs after the injury. And that's the case in so many cases also. Anybody with any form of injuries, in more cases than not, you are advised to cycle to build strength, or to swim to build strength and your cardiac fitness. So if I had to pick which sport I enjoy more, definitely football. If I have to pick which sport I will probably enjoy more for the rest of my life as I move closer towards old age, it has to be cycling, because I know I can't play football for too long also. So I love them both a lot in their own ways. Today I pick football. Tomorrow I might pick cycling.
That's a sweet balance. And it all stems from cycling being a low impact, on your body.
Yes.
It conditions your body, everything. There's no jhatka, like we call it, like in badminton or many other sports.
Yeah. It's very safe for your joints, and it works so much in developing strength as well.
Cool. We have a couple of rapid fires to wrap this up. What are the favorite locations you have ridden your bike?
Australia, Belgium.
Okay. What is your favorite snack in the pack when you ride?
In my bag, most common snack, banana. Favorite snack is sun-dried bananas. Amazing.
TT or mustard?
Mustard, any day.
From each of these sports, football and cycling, what do you like about them?
Football, teamwork, camaraderie, certain special moments in time that just remain imprinted in your head, and if this feeling of complete exhaustion at the end of a game. It's different from the complete exhaustion you get as a cyclist. Cycling, I will say, finishing a training ride and eating your favorite food. No, I'm kidding. I love cycling. I was thinking about it from a sport aspect, but more from a commute aspect, more from a regular rider's aspect. I love cycling because it takes me to places that I would never have been otherwise.
Yeah. And coming to food, what are your guilty pleasures?
So gulab jamun is one of my guilty pleasures, yes. But more than guilty pleasures, I have healthy pleasures, I would say. I love eating rajma salad or white chana salad or black chana salad, these or paneer salad, that kind of stuff. Superb. Boiled eggs, I don't know how it's come to a point in my life where I find them so tasty. So more than guilty pleasure, I think I have healthy pleasures. And once I've done my healthy eating, then if I still have a gulab jamun lying in front of me, then I'm not going to say no.
It's been great talking to you, Parashuram. Somewhere I read in while I was doing my, reading about your profile and getting ready for the podcast, that Parashuram is a all-round awesome dude. I read it somewhere. And you've been really candid on the show. Thanks so much for being here. And feel free to drop by anytime you want at Scott Sports India.
I would love to. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for giving me a new Instagram bio also. Just all-round awesome dude it is.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe our channel at Scott Sports India or follow us on Instagram. Follow us on the Eplog Media app or on Spotify at the hashtag NoShortcuts Podcast. Until next time, see you soon.